Hello everyone. I'm Mike, and I'm the founder and creative director at Art&Graft, which we're conveniently located just around the corner. I work in a studio with a real lovely bunch of designers, animators, and we're rarely seen out of our natural habitat, so it's fair to say that I've been sat over there for the past hour quietly shitting myself. And I've also noticed that like some of the guys from the studio have perched themselves right at the back of the studio in the shadows as well, so that just shows you that this ain't our thing, right, normally. But we're lucky enough to get asked to do lots of different types of projects for loads of different kind of interesting brands, telling different types of stories, and using different types of technologies. And so we generally have quite a lot of fun. And so I was kind of thinking, while putting this talk together, I was kind of thinking, firstly, what the hell am I going to talk about? And secondly, is there anything that links our stuff together? And I think like character is probably the thing that we spend most of our time doing. I should use this thing, don't I? So we spend our time kind of creating characters for all the kind of people we work with. And all of these really begin with just kind of sketches. So we'll knock these out, kind of rapid really, depending on who we're working with and what they're kind of asking for and all that kind of stuff. So this is a dapper gentleman who ended up in a Virgin Atlantic film. I'm not allowed to show them yet. These are some robots we did for Asics. And so, we generally have to kind of create these like characters that represent kind of brands or represent the people we're working with, and we end up kind of creating like a cast of characters very often, people we kind of recognise or don't recognise, like that dude in the middle. But a lot of the work that ends up being in our kind of commercial work begins in the studio. We spend a lot of time doing our own stuff and playing around with our own stuff, and we've created kind of I can't remember, like 4 or 5 like studio films. This is one of them, The Walk, and we kind of mess around with like styles and techniques that we like, and then hopefully that leads to jobs, and then we end up making stuff that we kind of like. So that's like our thing. So we play around a lot with different kind of visual languages, I guess. This is a clip from a still from one of our studio films. So lots of stuff. Sometimes computers can be characters can be computers. Sometimes the characters can be things that you find in a fridge. Avocado guy, he's cute. Like future bunnies, they're funny. They can be corn. This guy's funny. Do you recognise that guy? Seal Young. Great music. And so we knock this kind of stuff out all the time. So we've started to become more active on social media because that's what people tell us that we should do. And so if we ever come up with something we like, we kind of animate it really quickly and we kind of chuck it out. Sound on that. Yeah, he's cool. This is where I should be now. He's good. So I think that kind of, the combination of characters and technology is really important. Like, we do play around with lots of different styles. Sometimes it's hand-drawn, really kind of traditional stuff. Sometimes it gets a bit more technical. But hopefully, every time we tap into a technology, it's kind of like helping that character come alive a little bit more, rather than just like making kind of sexy kind of textures or whatever. And then hopefully that kind of then falls into our commercial work, which these slides represent. See how long I can stay quiet. It's quite good fun. All right, so Technology Meets Art is the title of tonight. And so this is a project we did that represents that. Adult Swim are really... So have you heard of Adult Swim? They're like they're in America, and they do really, it's just kind of daft basically, but every so often they ring us up and they ask us to do idents, and they're really good because they don't give you a brief, they just say make something that is kind of funny, I guess. So we thought something funny would be old people and VR. So we started sketching up these characters, and here they are. And this is their VR headset. And so I think idents, he asked us to do 8 idents. So you can, normally idents are just kind of random things, but we thought it might be interesting to tell a kind of like a story through these idents. So these are the idents. Here it comes. Oh yes. Oh yes. It all ends well. And then they came back to us and said, that was good, can you do us a load more? So some dudes messing around in their office, which is kind of technology. We are able to do more grown-up stuff as well. An ad agency in America came to us and they said, could you make a film about an ant that, to sell sunglasses? So we said, yes, we can. And but if you look at an ant close up, ants are really freaky, like horrible looking kind of things if you look at them really, really close up. So the challenge with this project was try and like create an ant that you kind of loved, you kind of wanted him to like do well. So here's like behind the scenes stuff for that.
Remember that song we used to sing about the chin on the ground? How did that go?
The ant song!
Oops, there goes another rum tree. Oops, there goes another rum tree plant.
Get it? Yeah. So we're always trying to create new characters and how using kind of technology to make those kind of characters come alive and so recently we've got more into like using kind of photorealistic textures and lighting and filming kind of looks, and then kind of chucking them together with more stylized kind of characters. And one of the guys in the studio created this guy who's from Mindhunter, Netflix thing, and so we made this relatively quickly, put it on social media, and it just kind of went off, which is fun. And then from that, an advertising agency got in touch with us and said, we've got a script that the guy from that would suit really well. So it's kind of cool how it works, that if you make stuff that you're into, it can actually create jobs that give you money, which is nice. So the script they gave us was about a kid going into a shop and saying, I bought some nappies off you, I didn't use them, so I want my money back for this nappy. So it's kind of fun. So we started working out what this character looks like. And generally, all the guys in the studio have a stab at this stage. We're all just kind of sketching stuff out, really, and what this kid might look like, how stylized he might be, haircuts, what kind of glasses he's wearing is very important. Kind of like the haircut on the guy on the left, the fringe. So we're starting to kind of narrow it down, I guess. Now we're getting into the shape of spectacles and the thickness of eyebrows. Adding colour. The deadline for this job was really tight, and so the brilliant thing about this is that we decided that if we put his mouth below the counter, we wouldn't have to animate any lip syncing. So that works out really well. Like this guy here. Where elbows are, very important. Is that a knee? The knee isn't there though, is it? It's actually there, so that's wrong. And then taking those designs and dropping into 3D and adding texture and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of fun. It's really fun for us to kind of like collaborate. We then bring in kind of freelancers and specialists help into the studio, can kind of help us get it to this kind of stage, and that it's really exciting for us, all that kind of stuff. So then we drop the guy into the set and light it. Sometimes you get render problems, but that's okay. These things happen. So there he is with his nappy. That's the shopkeeper, who, if you remember the Mindhunter guy, is quite similar.
Getting money off your next phone bill for data you don't use, smarty. Thinking you get money for other things in life you don't use, not so smarty.
Hi, you probably don't recognize me. I used to be a baby, but now I'm 6 and I'm all grown up, so I like my money for these nappies I never used. I never wore them. Honest. Smell them.
Money for unused nappies, not so smarty. Money off for unused data, smarty. Simple, honest, mobile.
So that went down really well, and so they came back to us pretty much straight away and said, could you do another one? So we were like, yes, we will. This one was about a guy who goes into a tanning shop and says, the sun's come out, can I have my money back for the tan he's just paid for or something? So started sketching out ideas for what that guy might look like. Again, everybody's kind of having a go at this. Kind of like the idea of the difference between the two characters, the kind of shopkeeper or the tan shop kind of receptionist and the guy. They eventually went for this guy, which is brilliant. Guy in the middle. We didn't need to do that, we just did it anyway, because he's... What does he look like with no clothes on now? Cool, let's move on. His facial expressions, haircuts. We really pushed for the guy on the left. But, yeah, they didn't go for it. They wanted him bold, which is fine. The shopkeeper, again, facial expressions. Then, again, getting really excited into textures and yeah. Here he is. We've all met him.
Oi, oi. Look, I bought this tan yesterday, but the sun's come out. So, can I get my money, please?
Money for a tan you bought but didn't use? Not so smarty. £10 for 4 gigs of data and getting money off your next phone bill for data you didn't use? Smarty. Simple, honest, mobile.
So yeah, while that kind of stuff's going on, we still really, we put a lot of importance on kind of keeping our own stuff happening. Like whenever we've got any time, it's like, right, crack on with our own stuff. So one of the guys in the studio came up with the idea of like observational thing within like a pub, like a normal kind of pub setting. And so from doing that smarty thing, we kind of got into performance and nuances of performance. And so how could we kind of create characters without and they're not doing much, it's just funny, hopefully. Well, I mean, it might not be funny, but you'll see. And so we started sketching out some ideas, like this old guy at the pub who sits on his own, really grumpy, miserable chap. And there's like a frog sat next to him. And like a frog, not a real frog, but like a guy, a mascot from a football match or something. And so, what would that be like? And so we, again, start playing with kind of, it's kind of real but not real kind of thing. Another couple that we had to think about. So she's made out of wood, he's made out of like a balloon material. This one's funny. So he's, I don't know, he's from Vegas, I reckon, and he's a prawn. So they're just hanging out in a bar. Sexy. So that was fun. And then, so this is our, I better rattle through this quick. So this is our latest kind of project that we're doing in-house and in-house, in the studio. And somebody lent us a mocap suit. So we thought, what can we do with a mocap suit that kind of, loads of people do really, really cool stuff with mocap suits, and we thought we can't really match that kind of stuff, but let's do something that feels right for us. And so we started getting into these guys where they're kind of humans, but they're not humans. They're kind of trying to make themselves look like nature or animals or something like that. So we thought that could be kind of fun. we can make our movements, do the movements, and then transport them movements into kind of these animals that we make up. So we started sketching out these kind of future animals, and we're kind of thinking about this thing as like it's going to be like a future safari park where you might visit and see these things in like 2,000 years' time or something like that. And so these are the animals that might live there, and we're kind of thinking that the human movements that we have would connect to the kind of character designs that we've got. So yeah, I'll rattle through these so you can kind of see what we're up to. This little guy, and this is the actual VR recording. The apex of technology meets art, I think. I love it how Dawn isn't interested at all. This guy is a trained actor, by the way. Very good. Very good. So yeah, we're having loads of fun with this. So loads of different characters. How we kind of connect them to human movement, I have no idea. But we're whittling it down. We've got down to, this is our kind of cast now. We've got Gerard over there in the corner, Cindy and Desmond, who are kind of a couple, but they've got loads of kids, I think. Greg, who's like this kind of slime ball character. This is kind of where they're going to live, which is this future safari park. We've got these armed guards that are kind of making sure that they don't get too much mischief. Playing around with kind of renders and seeing how this thing might look. There's Greg again. Greg's got an arm for a tongue that kind of hangs around with lots of other Gregs in these kind of like pond things. This is an early test of like the mocap thing to Greg. I like it how you can see Greg's innards in his belly. Gerard hanging out. And we started playing around with, again, the kind of the visual language of this and how it might look. We're kind of into making it look like, kind of well made, but then all the movements being a bit shit. So this is the shit movement. But it's fun. And this is just rendered out today, so this is straight out of the box, this is the idea. And so we're going to take this, and the idea is to then, it may be a VR thing where you can kind of walk around, or it may be some kind of interactive thing where you're actually traveling through this park. We don't really know, but it's kind of, that's kind of the point with this, just to kind of play around with stuff and have fun. So that's it. Thank you.